Since 2003, this is The Sports Source with your host, John Pennington.
The Sports Source is presented by Junk Be Gone, Pipe Wrench, and the Garza Law Firm.
The Sports Source starts now.
Welcome into the Sports Source in our Junk Be Gone studios. We're going to be breaking down last night's game. Some things never change. Look, you are 2-2 in your last 4 games against Alabama. You're off the schneid there, but when you go to Alabama, that doesn't change. That's just losses. Often they're not competitive losses. You still haven't scored more than 24 points against them on the road since 2001 in regulation. So a lot of that looked the same. Today we'll break down how it looked the same, why it looked the same, should it have looked the same. We'll also start looking ahead to Kentucky. And if you're sitting there going, who cares about Kentucky? That's my concern about Tennessee's football team, too. We'll discuss Kentucky and how you get this team back up after the Alabama loss for a Kentucky team that's winless in the SEC. And while we don't like to talk anything in these football postgame shows, I like to keep it football only. And that usually makes the men's basketball fans mad, etc. Well, today we are going to have to talk just a wee bit about Tony Vitello and the baseball team. Lots to come. Let's dive into it. First segment of this show brought to you by the Garza Law Firm. And when the Vols play at home, boy, they can score points on anyone. When they go on the road, things get tougher. It's called home field advantage, and you want it in your courtroom as well. Hire the best local attorneys you can. Get the home field advantage. Don't go hiring somebody that you see on TV without doing your research to find that, they're actually located in Birmingham. They're actually located in Memphis. Marcos Garza and the Garza Law Firm, East Tennessee, right here. And they're as good as you can get, period. GarzaLaw.com to learn more. All right, first wave of panelists today. We have right over here Jimmy Himes back with us. Jimmy, thank you.
Thank you.
Will Overstreet, VFL, back with us. Marlon Walls in a slick-looking jacket right here, VFL. And right over there, Bob Hodge, thank you for joining us.
Good looking. My jacket.
Good looking combo. I like it. Okay, there were basically, in my opinion, 2 99-yard turning points in that game. And we will start with the first one, which came at the end of the first half. And there it is, just with seconds to go, time for 1 play if they run the ball, 2 if they pass the ball. Well, apparently Tennessee wanted to make Alabama think they were going to run. So they line up without a receiver on the field. And it's a bunch formation. Everything's just pounded in there. It's a tight formation, jumbo foundation. And, doesn't work. That's how the play started. Here's how it ended. Yeah, exactly. The interception going back the other way. Instead of 16-14 where you fought back at the half, you're down 23-7. Will Overstreet, your thoughts on the play design, the play call? If you want to get into the way the clock was managed going into that sequence to get down there, you can. Just your thoughts on the end of the first half when Tennessee had a shot to really make it competitive, and instead you got the pick 6.
Yeah, it was a terrible series. I mean, that was just a terrible set of plays, play calls. I mean, especially right there. Listen, you had 9 seconds on the clock, right? I don't care what you line up in. If I'm the defensive coordinator, I'm going, guys, this is the 10% of the time they pass it down here. So, I think you would have done yourself a whole lot better setup if you'd just gone 4 wide, 3 wide, gotten a passing set. Quarterback knows what he's doing. I'm not having to fake it. Whatever it is. But I looked at that series right there, and I just went, no one thinks you're going to take the risk of running it and get stopped there and get 0 points. You're going to throw the ball right here. You're not fooling anybody, so why get in a run-heavy set that you have to do the fake to get a guy that's not necessarily your greatest receiver out there running kind of that out route there to the post? And you just looked at it and go, that's just a lot of stuff to go on to do something that's not really going to fool the defense in this game at that point in the game.
Bob and I were talking at the time. It's like, why not just go 4 wide there?
Yes.
Go 4 wide, and then you spread them out to where Aguilar also becomes a run option there.
Yeah, right.
If you're completely spread out, I know you didn't like the play design.
I thought the play design was stupid. It's just like I said before the show, my 10-month-old granddaughter said, they're not running here. So that was stupid. And you got a guy like Chris Brazzell, who I think has been underutilized last couple of games, who has proven time and time again he catches 50-50 balls. He's tall. He can jump. And he wasn't on the field for that play. And I actually backed it up after they ran it and then Alabama ran it back the other way, to look at the formation because I thought I had to have missed something here. This couldn't be what they did, but by golly, they did it.
They did it. It was. I mean, you even heard the commentator saying it as we lined up in it. You've got one play here if you run the football. You've got two possibly, two for sure if you throw the football here. And again, I back you on this one. What I'd like to see there is let's throw the 50-50 ball to Brazel. If he get it, great, we scored a touchdown. If we don't, we can line it up and run another play. Now, if you want to run the ball here, feel free to run the ball, but at least we got 2 shots in the end zone, in opposed to getting into a formation where Alabama defense literally knows you have to throw the football here. So their DBs are sitting on it, and then we get a bad ball by Joey.
Yeah, we can't.
That's behind, and it was good riddance.
We can't put it all on the coaches. They didn't coach him to throw it to the inside there, and it was not a great throw. Jimmy, your thoughts on the end there at the end of the first half?
The two things that bothered me were the bunch formation, because you've limited the plays you can call. Yep. The other part of it was I would have probably saved about 12 more seconds. That's a second down play.
Yeah.
So if I've got second down and I've got 21 seconds instead of 9, I could actually try to run it on second down. If I don't get it, then I can down it, kick field goal. But to let it run down to 9 seconds, now you have no other option other to throw it. And Brazel should have been on the field. But the bunch formation to me limited the calls that you could make. It limited the plays. And I thought you were playing into Alabama's hands a little bit right
And it
there.
adds a level of complexity. It makes you have to do slower progression back. You know, you're not sitting there in shotgun, getting the ball, looking and making fast, quick reactions. You're having to do something else. And that's probably what causes you to have that kind of inside throw right there. So I looked at it as like too much complexity, too much trickery to do something. You could have just said, let's line up and put our best out there.
You still fought back. I'll give them credit because we talked. I didn't expect much coming out of the halftime locker room. That's a killer. Because I went into that game thinking you're the underdog. I felt like at no point during that game, not for 1 second, I read people last night saying clearly these teams are equal and Tennessee just beat themselves. That isn't the same game I watched. I felt like you're the underdog the whole way. I didn't think Tennessee had a chance for 1 second to win that game. Or not a chance, but I didn't think they were going to win it for 1 second. But you come out, second half. You stop them. Force the punt. Deshaun Bishop has a great run. You are back in it. Then your defense forces a turnover. And just like last week, 2 of those 3 turnovers that the defense forced against Arkansas, you didn't cash in. The offense doesn't cash in. The next thing you know, I thought this was the nail in the coffin. 99-yard drive for Alabama. So there was your second 99-yard turnaround. When you don't convert, when you are down 23-13, and we'll get into the 2-point decision a little bit later. When you're down 23-13, you get the ball at midfield on a kind of a weird, that's a fumble, it's incomplete. You know, you got the call, and you don't cash in, and they go 99 yards. I thought that was it, Marlon. That was where just go ahead and put it on the board. It's a loss.
Well, and here's the obvious point, and this don't get talked about enough. When you look at our two teams versus each other, everybody knows this going into the game. You've got to compliment. You've got to do a great job when your defense give you the ball. You got to do something with it because your guys don't look like their guys, and they showed it on that 99-yard drive. They just took advantage of our weaknesses. So when you get an opportunity to score, even get points, a field goal off a turnover, you've got to do that, or else, yes, this game is over because your guys can't line up against their guys and just automatically stop them time in and time out. And when you don't do that, you lose this ball game.
I think we said that in the last segment last week when we were talking about how do you win this game, and it was, well, you got to cash in on turnovers if you get them, and you didn't. Your thoughts on that failure there?
Well, I mean, you had so many things in a microcosm on that drive. You had another drop pass. You had a bad center snap. I mean, right there in that series, things that have hurt you all season is your own mistakes. And I agree. I think Alabama was the better team athletically. And when you're playing a better athletic team, you can't keep doing these little things that come back and kill you. I mean, the interception at the goal line was a huge thing. But to get the ball right there and not be able to, I mean, do anything. What, you lost 9 yards?
Yeah.
Was your sum total?
Yeah.
No, I thought that was the back-breaking point.
Gentlemen, your thoughts on not converting and then allowing the 99-yard drive?
The back-breaking, that's just the microcosm of also the plays like to number 5 that they threw in the backfield. You have 5 guys. It's 10 to 12 yards to gain, and he makes 4 guys miss, and he gets the first down.
You don't have that guy.
You don't have that guy. We don't have that guy on offense, and we sure as heck don't have that guy in our secondary that can come up and make that play or tackle right now or guard that guy. And so that is where you just look at where's the talent deficient. Unfortunately, it's deficient in DBs and corners and safeties right now being able to tackle in space. And they've got guys on their wide receiver core that can make people miss and take a 5-yard and turn it into something. Yep. And neither sides of it right now, that's probably our weakest points on both sides of the ball are in those 2 areas of we don't have that same kind of level of talent.
Nobody wants to hear it, and they're going to say, next man up. If you had McCoy and Gibson in there, you might have had somebody that could make that tackle on that play. Yep. Those are the guys, you missed them last night. When you're talking, I looked at that game, I saw one special play from Tennessee, the Deshaun Bishop run. That was a special play. I saw a 99-yard interception where he outran everybody going the other way for Alabama. I saw that play out of the backfield. I saw Ryan Williams catch a couple of these.
Yeah.
And then when they throw one barely behind Mike Matthews, clonk. Yeah. Miles Kitselman, clonk. In terms of special plays, special players, I thought Alabama had them. Tennessee didn't. Jimmy, your thoughts. Wrap it up.
Well, the 99-yard pick six was a huge momentum changer. The 99-yard touchdown drive was game, set, match. When that happened, I thought it's over. Tennessee's not going to rally from this. They tried, but they couldn't. I guess they cut it to 10 after that, but I never really felt Tennessee had a chance to win it after that 99-yard drive. And the tackling on that drive, and it wasn't just the Jeremy Bernard play. There were other missed tackles along the way on that drive. Yeah. It was stunning. I counted 9 missed tackles on that 99-yard drive. One drive.
And when their guys made those great catches that you were talking about, sometimes it was because Simpson was off, because the guy was wide open. He had to make a spectacular catch because it wasn't a great pass. I don't remember a spectacular catch that we made in that game. Might have been one I'm forgetting about it, but didn't see any of that.
I don't remember that were spectacular. No, none that were special. Okay. When we come back, we'll dive into another Heupel decision, the decision to go for 2. You've got all the momentum. You go for 2. You give away the momentum. We'll discuss that. And also, let's play the blame game for last night. Is that the offense that lost that game or the defense? You have to pick one. Which one is it? That's next. Going back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by A.G. Hines Company. The temperatures are going to start to drop this week. Winter isn't far away. If you intend to start a do-it-yourself project of your own, be sure you have the correct winter building materials because it has to be a different type of material to build in the winter. It makes a difference. Gordon Hines and his team can make sure you have exactly what you need. Get down to A.G. Hines Company in downtown Knoxville, right on Hines Street, appropriately enough. When your business is 105 years old, you probably just named the street when you just opened up. So that's another benefit to being around for a century. There aren't many businesses that get to enjoy that benefit. All right, I want to welcome in the next 2 members of our panel. We have right over here Josh Ward. Josh, thanks for being here. This is your second post-game show of the day. You've been doing radio on WNML. Thanks for being here.
I saved my fresh takes, though, so don't worry.
That's right. Well, Jeff Jarnigan won't like that, but I'm paying him extra. Don't say anything you really mean on the radio. No, Josh, thanks for being here. Yeah. Right down here, VFL Daniel Hood. Daniel, that's a good outfit. I like
Thank
that.
you.
Would have been better if they'd won, but it's a good-looking outfit. All right.
Got to bring the sunshine.
Let's do the poll question. There you see it. And I'm taking away, yikes. Versus expectations, how are the Vols doing this season? Overperforming, 30%, or underperforming, 70%? Now, this is a team that was picked for 9th in the SEC. This is a team that Las Vegas said the over-under was 8.5, between 8 and 9 wins. You're at 5-2. I took performing off the board. So you got to go overperforming or underperforming. Use that QR code. Take your phone, your smartphone, click on that under the Hearthside Bank logo, and play along with us. I'm always interested to see how it goes. I figured we'd go underperforming after a loss to Alabama, but let's see. When you base it on expectations. Remember what the expectations were. The mass expectations, not just yours. And if it seems like I'm stumbling more today, that's what happens when you're up to 4 o'clock due to a stupid night game. All right. let's focus on a couple of Josh Heupel, go with just one coaching decision here. The Vols gave up the pick 6 to end the half. Then they forced Bama to punt, which we covered. Then Bishop gets his touchdown. You've got momentum back. There's 11:18 to play in the third quarter. This thing's 23-13. And you decide to go out there and go for 2. And you don't get it. And now the momentum is, okay, we just failed. Daniel and Marlon, this question's for you. Did they make the right call in going for 2? It didn't work, but did you like the decision to go for 2 there with 11:18 to play?
Zen master.
You know I loved it, but you know.
Tell me why.
Yeah, this is a game, like you said earlier, Tennessee's not scored over 24 points in Alabama. You may only have another 1 to 2 touchdowns to score in the entire game. I think you've got to go out and try to win the game.
He's wrong. I did not like. This is my guy. We played next to each other. I did not like it because if you're gonna go for 2 there, give me some kind of special play. Maybe you throw a Boo Carter in there and throw it to him in the flats and let him see if he can make a guy miss. But when we just line up and try to outperform their defense, something that we haven't done all night, I didn't like that call. Let's go ahead and kick the field goal there, keep the momentum. That helps our defense out. We kind of go out on the field as a defense, knowing that we just got a positive play.
Does that deflate you at all on the sideline?
Yes.
See, I would think so.
No.
Okay.
I didn't like the play call. I will say that.
Okay, well, that's not the point. The
but
point
I
is
did
the
like
decision
to
to go for it.
I do like you got to come up with a better play, but to me, I didn't think it's going to deflate the team by not getting that one.
So when they go for 2 and they missed a 2-pointer, we don't get off the bench and say, crap. All right, let's go play ball. Let's go play
we just
defense.
gave up a touchdown. We should already be down.
I got you.
Okay. Now, you're wrong. Now, I mean, my thought, I talked to Bob. We're always on the phone during these games, but my thought was at halftime, I said, I don't know how many more chances they're going to get to score. That's me. I can say that. The coach, I think, telegraphed that to his team that, my God, we better get every point we can because I don't think my offense can score on these guys. I just didn't like it right there from Heupel. Yeah. I don't believe in going for 2 early, and I thought that was early. I think you wind up chasing it. All right, question for Will and Josh down here. The defense wasn't great, but they did hold Alabama to 120 yards rushing, which for them is spectacular. It's the first time against an SEC foe they've given up less than 198. Even though Alabama can't run, you've made other teams that can't run. So credit the defense there. Of Bama's 37 points, the defense gave up 28. 28 this day and age on the road, okay, that's not bad. The offense gave them 9 points. I'm setting you up, so I want you to argue with me if I'm wrong. Which side gets the most blame last night, the offense or the defense? I'm kind of stacking the deck. Tell me if I'm wrong and tell me it's no, it was the defense. I think it was offense.
I absolutely think it was offense in this game. I mean, in a game like this, I always said, listen, if you looked at Alabama, you have to, as an offense, score 28 points. Like, there is no chance you win this game. If you don't get to 28 points, ball game, set, match. And not only that, you don't expect your offense then to give them points, right? So, like, in a game like this, you have to get to a certain level of efficiency and get to a certain score number. And if you don't get that, you're short. And listen, your defense, like you said, that basically puts it in the realm of you have a tie ball game. If I give the points that my defense only gave up, that's 28-28. So I look at this game as more on the offense having the problems.
And
today.
you failed to cash in on the turnover they gave you as well there.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, Josh, now I'm going to ask you, are you going to be like Daniel and be bold and brave enough to go on your own and say, no, John's wrong? Do you think it was offense or defense that was to blame for last night?
I typically am not going to be bold, and I'm not going to be.
You're always bold.
I'm not going to be here, but I am going to be right, and I'm going to agree with you that it's the offense. They were net positive 11 points. That's just not going to get it done. They didn't take advantage of an opportunity at midfield when the defense did step up and get them the football. This is not to say the defense was perfect. The show's covered some of the defensive issues, missed tackles, penalties that they had on their own side. But the offense did not do nearly enough to give Tennessee a chance to win on the road or take advantage of opportunities to have a shot in the fourth quarter.
Okay, I'll let either group here talk about what the other question was. What were your thoughts on the 2-point conversion very quickly? You good with it or didn't like it?
Yeah, I just thought it was too early. I think that's a fourth quarter decision, not the third quarter.
I totally agree. I was like, I don't know where this game's going all the way, so I'm going to get the easy points, and then I'm going to see what I need to do later in the game.
And what did you guys think, offense or defense?
And I would say offense as well because you saw in the first couple of drives, your defense, they did a great job of unmasking what you struggle with, which is playing in space, and then also defensively we weren't able to get to the quarterback. So when we do get those turnovers offensively, you've got to score points in this game.
Yeah, and I completely agreed with you. It just didn't seem like your Jimmies were better than their Joes on offense, and your offense just really took a step back on this away game. This is 2 away games that your offense has put up the equivalent of 2 touchdowns Mississippi State, 3 touchdowns at Alabama. It's not good enough.
Nope, and it's a trend. When we come back, what will it take for the Vols to ever get back to an SEC title game or to catch up with an Alabama? We're sitting here again. I read people last night saying the talent on that field was even. Most of us don't see it that way. So what will it take to get to Atlanta? Also, what are the chances now? You got 2 losses, your back's against the wall, but the playoff's still out there. You made it to the playoff 10-2 last year. What are the chances, percentage-wise, Tennessee gets to the playoff? That's next. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Elkmont Station. If you're looking for a unique dining experience, this is the place. The menu is always evolving, offering new options and exciting tastes every time you visit, and their original handcrafted cocktails are truly special. Elkmont Station, just off Campbell Station Road. Visit elkmontstationknox.com to learn more about their crafty food and drink at Elkmont Station. Let's take a look at the Heupel keys. Across the board. Didn't hit any of them.
Wow.
Not a single one of the 8 things that we went back before the season, in the offseason, and looked at. I went back and looked at 8 billion different numbers to find things that really signaled a win for Tennessee. If you do this, it usually works. Well, didn't hit any of them last night. So not a surprise that it was a loss. Let's welcome in the next 2 members of our team right over here. Chuck Cavalaris back with us. Chuck, thank you.
Great to be here.
VFL Sterling Hinton. Now, I was intending to wear the orange and the crimson regardless of who won. I'm guessing that you didn't choose to wear all crimson today.
My colors today were not chosen by me. I had to pay a bet.
So this is, children, don't gamble. Okay. All right. This is a cover 2, so 2 of you get 1 question, 2 of you get the other one. Bob and Sterling, we'll start with you. Tennessee currently 8th in the nation in 24/7 sports recruiting rankings, 8th in the nation. But that's behind Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M, and Texas in the SEC. UT had the number 11 national class last year. There were 7 SEC teams ahead of them in terms of recruiting. My question, can the Vols get back to an SEC title game, which is tougher than ever because it's no longer best of a division. You got to be one of the top 2 teams in the SEC. Can they ever get back to Atlanta if they don't start getting top 3 in the SEC classes, top 5 in the nation classes? Bob and Sterling.
You know, I would like to Cavalaris the question.
I'll
wait till Chuck to let him Cavalaris his question. I'm going to have to go with no. Even though you're close, you're right there, you're a couple of players away from flipping those spots. I think last night you see, and I don't want to harp too much on Alabama's receivers, but I think you see when you have guys that are just special. Tennessee's got guys that are really good, but they don't see special out of a lot of them, and I think it's those special guys that click you up 2, 3, 4 spots that make you competitive for SEC championships and national championships.
That's a good point, Bob. And according to what you read in the papers, you can be supported what you're saying. I'm a guy that has always believed in development. And I think we've got systems in place right now in Tennessee that helps develop players. We got a lot of youth out there right now. So they're making a lot of young mistakes and inexperienced mistakes. But once we get our development going underneath our belt, you have to recruit every year now because of the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I'm excited about our future.
I just wonder did you recruit well enough, but then you just don't have them on the field? Jermod McCoy erased Ryan Williams last year. Now, he's the special receiver that's making those. He didn't make those last year because Jermod McCoy was out there. He's hurt. David Sanders was your big NIL spend this year. He hasn't been starting on the offensive line. He played a little bit more yesterday, but he's not starting. You went into this season saying, we're going to have Jermod McCoy and Ricky Gibson as our top 2 corners, and we're going to have David Sanders as our starting right tackle. Didn't turn out that way. So is it fair for me to continue to say it's recruiting? Well, do you look at that and say, well, if you'd had those guys, your recruiting is just good enough?
I think Tennessee does a really good job of developing. But you take guys here and develop them there, whereas maybe in the case of Alabama's receiver, they're taking guys here and they're developing them there. So maybe they have a little higher ceiling. I mean, it's close. I think Tennessee's close.
Yes.
But they're not quite there yet.
I think it gets back to what we said in the first segment. We're talking about special players.
Yeah.
I think Alabama has more special players. Now, maybe that'd be different again if some of those guys are out there.
Yeah,
never
injuries.
Never let it be said I don't devil's advocate every question, including my own. That's right. Devil's advocate in my own point. We gotta get to the bottom here. Okay, next question is for Chuck and Will. Yes, Chuck and Will. I don't know why that came out weird. The Vols made the you are Chuck and you are Will. That's right. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The Vols made the college football playoff last year with a 10-2 record. Currently, they are 5-2, and the playoff's still a possibility. But give me what you believe to be the Vols' actual percentage chance of making the playoff after last night. So that includes whether or not you think a 17-point loss on the road is especially devastating, or it's like, nah, it's just another loss. Chuck, if you had to give me a 10%, 90%, what are the chances they make the
Well,
playoff?
I think most people agreed Tennessee was on the bubble going into the Alabama game. And so, unfortunately, you're going to drop, right? I would put it at about 15%, to tell you the truth, because now you basically need to win out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to have to beat other teams competing for playoff spots. Oklahoma and Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
So, so that's where you are right now. You're on the outside looking in on the playoff picture.
So 15% is your
I
percentage.
say I'd put it at about 15%. Yes,
All right,
sir.
now I know you and I have the same, we make the same thing. We're never picking Tennessee to win at Gainesville because they never do it.
No.
So that means you see another loss. So what's your percentage chance?
It's 10% max if it's not less than that. And, I just look at this game and you go, I have to beat Oklahoma. I have to beat Florida on the road, which I almost give us zero chance to do in any given year. And then you've got to beat now Vanderbilt team that turned into a game that was very beatable, always going to win, to now you're like, I see how they played against Alabama. I see all these other things. I see some of the players on their team. I don't know if I'm not walking into that game expecting us to be I'm expecting us to be the underdog right now going into that game. So I just look at this and go, you got a tough uphill battle right now on road to go. And you got Kentucky next week. Don't overlook them, because if you come in there down, they're going to put it to you.
I'm going to ask you about that a little later. That's a good one. The interesting thing about Vanderbilt, and boy, this would be the nightmare scenario for Tennessee.
Ooh.
You lose to Vandy at the end, and they get into the playoff, and it knocks you out. But the thing is, we said this last week, you've always looked at Vanderbilt and said, well, at the end of the season, they're going to be depleted. They're going to be drained. They're going to have injuries, and they don't have the depth. With the transfer portal era, I don't know that you have the giant depth advantage you used to have on Vanderbilt.
No.
Clearly, LSU doesn't. Alabama and LSU having to fight with them. So I don't know if the depth's going to come to your rescue. But also, Bob, you said it last night. You get to the end of the season, Vanderbilt could have more to play for.
Oh, I mean, if Tennessee goes into that Vanderbilt game with nothing to play for except a decent bowl game, Vanderbilt, I think, will have every edge in the world mentally, because beating Tennessee is their world. Yeah. Whereas Tennessee's going into it saying, okay, if we win, we go to the Gator Bowl, we go to one of those bowl games. So yeah, I would give it Vanderbilt a potential big mental advantage.
True or false? Losing to Vanderbilt and they get the playoff would be the worst case scenario in the history of Tennessee football?
I don't know about the history, but it'd be a bad deal, baby.
I'm thinking about some of those
deal.
hires Tennessee made as the worst day.
I just think, losing at home is a problem, but losing to Vanderbilt is a double problem.
Yeah. The good news for Tennessee is at least you can no longer. Memphis lost yesterday to UAB,
Yes,
so they're
right.
done.
Yep.
So the chances of you not making the playoff while Memphis and Vanderbilt both make it, that's now done. You don't have to worry about that at least. All right. When we come back, let's take a look at the issues causing the Vols their biggest headaches right now. We'll rank them, and can they be fixed? Which ones can be fixed? Coming back on the Sports Source. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Southeast Termite and Pest Control. Just got the fall invader treatment at my house last week. Not a moment too soon, folks. The stink bugs, the ladybugs, the box elder bugs, they're all wanting into your house as the weather changes. And once they're in there, they're going to have little baby box elder bugs and little baby ladybugs and little baby stink bugs. And you don't want all those little things in your house from now until next summer. Call Southeast Termite and Pest Control. They'll handle it. They can take care of your home or your business and your pest control needs. They've been doing it since 1971, 50 years. No, it's not 105 years like A.G. Hines Company, but you show me a 50-year-old company, I put a lot of faith in that too. SoutheastTermite.com to learn more. All right, let's take a look at where the poll question, 76% of you say Tennessee is underperforming. A team that was picked to win 8.5 games by Vegas, that was picked for 9th in the SEC, is underperforming at 5-2. Okay. Keep telling us, keep giving us your answer there. I appreciate it. All right, we have on the big board back here, and I'm going to let Jimmy do the ranking. These are the 5 problems. There are more issues, but we'll take issue with my issues later. These are the 5 issues I put on the board. I want Jimmy to rank them in terms of which are the biggest issues haunting Tennessee right now, and then everybody else is going to tell me which ones are fixable, if any, at this point. We have tackling, no specific order here. Tackling, penalties. You had another 10 penalties. I've got notes on all these. Tackling, well, you saw it with your own eyes. Penalties, in 4 SEC games this year, the Vols have been flagged 10, 6, 10, and 10 times. Wide receiver drops. ESPN revealed last night Tennessee had dropped 21 passes on the year. I think Miles Kitselman made that 22. Only App State is worse in the United States of America. We went into the season wondering about the receivers and the drops from last year. They're dropping passes again. Wide receiver depth. ESPN also put up a number last night. Your first 3 receivers have 340 snaps, 340 snaps, 320 snaps, and then Travis Smith is next with 75 snaps. Hard to run up and down the field when you've only got 3 receivers. And then the last one, we've talked about it for a while. It's a different defense if you've got Jermod McCoy, Ricky Gibson. Jimmy, rank these 1 to 5 in terms of what the biggest issues are.
There's a lot of debate about this. The order that you kind of have is what I like. I think tackling, and maybe I'm a victim of what's happened recently, but tackling to me has been as good as Tennessee was at tackling a year ago, and now they struggle in that regard. So I've got tackling as the number 1 issue.
Apparently Tim Banks forgot everything he coached last year, because I keep hearing that Tim Banks is the problem.
Well, look at the points and the yards they're giving up, so I'm going to go tackling. I'm going to go penalties next. Penalties, and the thing about penalties is you can get on offense and defense and special teams.
Okay.
And they're wiping out big plays along the way. They're hurting themselves with illegal procedures, getting behind the chain. All right, the next one to me is the defensive back depth. And the reason I go with that one is because I think that's helped create, number 1, missed tackles.
Okay.
Because you don't have Jermod McCoy and Gibson, and I don't think your safeties are very good at tackling.
Yeah.
I'm
Jacoby Thomas, who left.
He's a good player. He's having a good year, I think, at Miami. Wide receiver drops is next to me. And so I'm debating, are there more drops because of the lack of depth? I don't know. But I'm going to say drops because it's stopping a lot of drops. The reason I'm putting wide receiver depth last is you're still averaging 300 yards passing per game. Okay. So at least you're still doing a good job in the passing game.
Okay. Tackling 1, penalties 2, defensive back depth 3, wide receiver 4, wide receiver depth 5, or wide receiver drops 4. Josh, Marlon, and Daniel, are any of these fixable at this point in the season? I think we have to say penalties could be fixable, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, hell, I'll just leave it. Okay.
Well, that one's not.
That's not fixable.
Yeah, that's not fixable. All right, quick, go. Tell me. What's fixable other than penalties?
I guess you could say wide receiver depth. You can start rolling out some of the young guys. See what you got
Jackson and
behind
Smith
you.
have been hurt, though. I mean, those are the guys that were supposed to be 4 and 5, and they were out last night. So is that fixable?
If I'm looking at all these 5, that's the one I would say is probably the most fixable. All the rest of them are kind of.
Okay. So do you think penalties are baked in, or that can be?
Yeah, penalties you can.
Okay.
It's tough.
I don't see it happening.
Yeah, at this point in the season, and then you've got a history of Josh Heupel teams having a ton of penalties on the road.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
I think your most fixable thing is the tackling, because you've seen Arizona State's head coach came out this week and said we had more physical practice, we had a bigger game. They ended up getting upset this week. I think the thing that's tough is you're probably not practicing as hard as you want to because you don't have the depth at defensive back, but you can't sacrifice the physical practice. You got to start with tackling and get the receivers on the jugs machine.
Yeah, that may be.
But to me, that's the biggest.
Jimmy, Josh, what are you doing?
Yeah, the drops I would say maybe, but I'm more confident it's fixable in the offseason. You're trying to fix it now. The defensive back depth is only fixable if Jermod McCoy comes back, and he may not. But right now, confidence is dropping that he's coming back.
Yeah.
And by the way,
it's
not fixing everything if he's back. It helps, obviously, if Jermod McCoy plays.
And Ricky Gibson's not expected to come back.
No.
That's right.
No, and McCoy hasn't practiced yet. I don't think he's going to be racing back for the New Mexico State game. I'm guessing his agent is saying, what good does it do you to come back? You're still going to be a first-round draft pick. Just sit and keep your good tape as from last year.
Or come back
Just
for
my
Kentucky.
guess.
They can't throw the football.
We'll see. Yeah, exactly. We'll see. Maybe he does come back. When we come back, the best and worst players from last night's game, a look ahead to Kentucky, and we've still got to talk about Tony Vitello and the San Francisco Giants. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. You can find them at madmarine.com as well. No better place to buy a boat because they care about the boat you buy. They're not just interested in selling you a boat. They want to make sure you get the right boat for your needs, for your family's desires. What are you going to use this thing for? Expect them to talk to you about that. Instead of just coming in and saying, well, I'm looking at this. It's like, okay, well, you've got a wife and kids. Are they going to like you just having this kind of boat, or are they going to want to do this and that? They want to make sure that you have a happy, good experience with your boat because that's why you keep coming back. Madisonville Marine, there's no better place to buy a boat.
Sunshine Sterling. Willie Rain Club. It's time for 3 up, 3 down. This is the Sports Source.
And there we go. We got the 3 up, 3 down. And there's, before we get to Sunshine Sterling and Willie Raincloud, there's your final poll results. 76% of you, 3/4 of you say that this Tennessee team is underperforming on the season.
Ooh, Willie is not alone.
Shouldn't have lost to
There are a lot
Alabama
of
and
rain
Georgia.
clouds.
Yeah, that's right. You're not alone. That's good. All right.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Sunshine. Chuck and Sterling. 3 up from last night's game. Who are the 3 best players?
Well, we had to
or
look
coaches?
pretty hard, but one I think stood out. Wide receiver Braylon Staley, a season-high 10 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown. Boy, you would have liked to have seen a play like that later in the game right before halftime. But that was really a good game he had, I thought.
He is playing better. You wish he could knock out some of the – he's got youngster mistakes that he makes. You had the offensive PI call. You had the ineligible downfield call, but then he's your go-to guy. So I agree with you. He should be on the up.
Right.
Maybe the more he plays, the more he cleans up some of the
those
others.
things.
Yeah, he will, and I'm confident that he will. My up is Deshaun Bishop. The man shows up, giving the rock. He's carrying the mail. Give him the rock, baby. And that run he made yesterday, awesome. Deshaun Bishop, up number 2.
279 yards rushing the last 2 weeks. He has really come on. For a guy who thought earlier in the year that Star Thomas was the one who looked more special, the way he's playing right now, Deshaun Bishop, looks like it's Dylan Sampson level from last year.
Yeah.
It's like he's becoming the bell cow who you can trust. So, Deshaun Bishop, who's your number 3 up?
Well, you kind of know it's a rough game when your third one is your punter. But Jackson Ross, all 3 punts inside the 10. We've talked about Bama's 99-yard drive. That was a punt down at the 1. So, Jackson Ross.
I think that's a good one. I think that's a very good one. All right, so Bishop, Staley, and Ross are your ups. All right, Raincloud guys. Let's go to Team Vulture. Who are your 3? You had an easier night of it.
Yeah, we had a little bit easier night. This is one of those nights we had some people to pick from. Had a few more on the list that didn't quite make it, but we had our pickings here tonight. So, John, something you mentioned earlier in the year, there's these stories about bad snaps and things not happening in practice and not consistency there. Well, it hurt us once again. So our first down is Pendleton. The bad snap once again in a game like that. You just can't take your momentum and have these kinds of mistakes over and over and over again. It's been there. It's a known thing. Hasn't been able to be cleaned up in big games at this point.
Even if you get a field goal there, you're within a touchdown, which feels like a massive win.
Yeah.
But you have a chance to cut it to 3 or 6 and didn't get it done. Or 3 to 7. What's your number 2, Dan?
Number 2, I'm going to go with Coach Heupel. And that doesn't mean I want Coach Heupel fired. We've got to move on. We have to do something differently.
Yeah.
But I thought the sequence at the end of the first half just wasn't his best moment. I didn't like the way the timeout was not used. That would have gave you more opportunity. I don't think anybody in the world, as we said earlier in the show, was fooled by that run formation that you put out there. And you had, outside of Deshaun Bishop, you had your best offensive threat in Chris Brazzell off the field. So I've got to ding him for that last 40 seconds.
Would also throw in the 2-point conversion decision.
The 2-point conversion decision. There you go.
Who's the next down?
Well, I know the Sunshine team is going to think a little down about this one, but a guy that's been on their list for every game except for this game, Joey Aguilar. I just look at this game, got to step up and make some plays, but most importantly, that play at the end, you throw the ball away. You cannot miss to the inside when you have that play right there, 99 yards. That's the play of the game that you look at. If you go back and say, what spelled doom in this game, that's it right there. And so I just have to look and say, he's had a great year in a lot of good places, but unfortunately you've seen some of that production go down here lately, and so there are some signs.
And you've got to, when you're in your own end zone, you can't flick the ball 5 yards farther into the end zone and expect it to be an incomplete pass and not intentional grounding.
Right. You wonder how much of this, and this is, this team shows you something new. I mean, there were teams this year that came out and expected Tennessee to do their same old offense. They changed their offense. Now you're midway through the season. Teams have seen this new offense. So now they're going to start making adjustments. So you wonder if that's one reason that Aguilar's production has dropped a little bit the last couple of weeks, that Brassel's production has dropped a little bit the last couple of weeks. Teams get a book on you. You have to show them, I got an answer for you, and then they have to write a new book, and then you prove so you may be in that position now where people are giving you a little something different because they know what's coming.
It also was not a good night for your offensive line pass blocking.
Correct.
So you got a lot more pressure than he's seen in any game this year. That was the most pressure, sacked 4 times. So that was a lot different.
And yet again, he's taken some huge hits. He can't keep that up.
You wonder about his neck.
Exactly.
After last night,
the ice pack, the one at the 2.
Yeah.
I mean, and then he gets base plant. I mean, that's tough.
My thing is, of course, we see it.
Quarterbacks are never down.
But look, you can't be down as a quarterback because we got to rock every play on offense. I just look forward to everything being cleaned up and us playing better, which we will.
Very good.
All right.
That's their perfect sunshine. All right. When we come back, let's play our newest game. It's called ... We're going to cover 8 different teams and coaches and players in the SEC, and let's talk about the latest on Tony Vitello. Come on back. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by El Chico. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and they do this every year. We always bring your attention to our friends over there. Girish Desai always raises money for the cause, and at El Chico, 100% of the price of a queso bowl is donated to breast cancer awareness. They've got special items on the menu. They've got prizes. They've got all kinds of ways to donate, and they're trying to raise $25,000. You can click that QR code right there on the screen and help raise money. Real Men Wear Pink, help raise money for breast cancer awareness. El Chico, they are at Cedar Lane, which is really right off Merchants Drive. It's where Merchants Drive becomes Cedar Lane. I've been going there, since I was out of college, which would be 156 years ago. Okay, let's take a look at the quarterback comparison. We do this every week. I stopped looking at the UCLA game, and these guys told me this morning, oh no, Nico led another comeback. He has won 3 games in a row now. Now you see their stats comparison, Nico and Joey Aguilar there. Numbers-wise, when you throw in the rushing yards that are added for Nico, it's not a big blowout like it used to be.
Right.
But 3 wins in a row for Nico Iamaleava. Okay, we did this last week. I think the guys here enjoyed it. We also got good comments from people watching, so we're going to do it again. New game called ... Very simple. I'll throw out a name, then you give me a definitive statement. You repeat the name and just make your statement. Jimmy Himes, we'll start with you. Billy Napier ...
Billy Napier will not be Florida's coach when the Vols face the Gators in Gainesville, November the 22nd.
That is a declaration. You think he's done, huh?
I think he's done.
All right. Do you think he's done immediately, like today possibly, or do you think he'll last till then?
Yes.
Okay, done today, after the Mississippi. Okay. So,
Cavalaris that question.
That's good. Bob Hodge, Lane Kiffin ...
Lane Kiffin is looking at Billy Napier's house to see whether or not he likes it.
Okay.
And maybe he's looking at houses in Pennsylvania.
Maybe it's
he's
amazing.
Looking at houses in Los Angeles.
He's a one man. It's remarkable. He loses yesterday, and it doesn't matter. There's no bruise, no bruising. He's just Lane Kiffin. Well, we still want Lane Kiffin. Other guys lose, and it's the end of the world. He loses, so he's Lane Kiffin. All right, Chuck, Diego Pavia, ...
Diego Pavia is the real deal, and he's the reason the stands were full at Vanderbilt yesterday in a victory over LSU.
That's the best you got.
Yeah.
You can't give me a big declaration. I was expecting you to say should be a Heisman front runner or something. But okay.
Oh no.
Very good. He's the reason that people show up at Vanderbilt.
Right,
All right. Josh Ward, Brian Kelly ...
Brian Kelly is about to lose the support of his family. I just I don't think it's been the right fit since he showed up, tried a weird accent to acclimate to Baton Rouge, and that loss to Vanderbilt and more that will probably come will probably be the end.
The father guy. All right, Jimmy. It's another example of let's get rid of this guy and we're going to upgrade, and the upgrade isn't really an upgrade.
Can I add Lane Kiffin's also looking for property in
Baton Rouge? There you go. Again, yeah. All right, Jimmy. Texas A&M ...
Texas A&M is the best team that seems to be flying under the radar as far as national championship conversation.
Okay.
I think they're really solid.
Mike
Good quarterback, offensive weapons, defense. I think it's a really good team.
There you go. All right. Bob Hodge, Alabama ...
Alabama is going to go to the college football playoffs.
That's kind of
I think that their schedule the rest of the way, they're going to end up. I don't think they're going to lose more than one more time.
Yeah.
So I think they go.
I think they're the best team in the SEC. I know Texas A&M's record.
Yeah.
If A&M played Alabama, I'm taking Alabama. I don't know what happened in the Florida State game, but they became the first SEC team to win 4 straight games against ranked opponents.
Yes. Well, there's 4 teams have done it, I think.
Right. Yeah. Okay. They were the most recent.
I
most
think them
recent.
and Texas A&M are just right there together.
Okay.
But I've seen a lot more Alabama play than I've seen Texas A&M play.
Okay. Chuck, Mark Stoops ...
Mark Stoops, with all of those SEC losses, is going to be the next head coach at Youngstown State.
There we go. That's the bold thing we're looking for. There we go. That's
I was
one.
saving it for the big finish.
He'll be at Youngstown State. There we go. I goaded him into a big statement. That's good. Josh, Hugh Freeze ...
Hugh Freeze is on borrowed time because I think the Auburn supporters have decided he is not the guy. It's a matter of when they will make that official. 0-4 now in the SEC again.
And really, how much is that different if he gets the right call in that Georgia game? If they beat Georgia, it changes his career trajectory. Because who knows if they lose to Missouri? Does that, what are the permutations after that?
He'll be fired first.
And Lane Kiffin is also looking at property.
Now, he had that chance last year to turn it down. All right, or last time. So Tony Vitello, supposedly the leader in the clubhouse, no pun intended, leader in the clubhouse for the Giants job. He would be the first college coach to make the leap straight to the majors that I've ever heard of that doesn't have any pro experience at all.
That's correct.
Yeah.
You've had guys who've made the jump, but they've been in pro organizations before.
Right.
So this would be unprecedented. This, to me, this is Notre Dame hiring Jerry Faust from Moeller High School. This is a completely unique thing. Vitello hasn't taken the job yet. The thought is, you've given him you've rebuilt the stadium for him. You made him the highest paid coach in the country, but he doesn't like not having enough NIL money. He doesn't like that some of the other programs over there get NIL money. Tony Vitello, ... Whoever wants it.
Is about to make the biggest mistake of his career if he takes the Giants job. I mean,
No, I'm going to go with
Orange-colored
Tony.
glasses. There
I'm
we
going to
go.
go with Tony Vitello. Is about to be really rich because if he gets a 5-year guaranteed contract at say $6.5 million, Tennessee can't even come within sniffing distance of that kind of money for a baseball coach.
Well,
I'm
it
sorry.
sounds like his problem is also he wants the NIL stuff, and I don't think Tennessee's going to shut down other programs to give all the NIL bucks to baseball.
Tony Vitello will be Tennessee's coach on Tuesday if he's not at San Francisco by Monday.
Okay.
so they said
it's coming
24
You
to,
can't just leave it out there hanging in the wind.
they said 24 to 72 hours is what the timeline they've been saying.
I think Tony Vitello has created an incredible opportunity for himself because it takes some kind of special ability to get a major league organization to have that kind of interest in a college coach. There's a reason it's unprecedented. So if he doesn't go to San Francisco, that means he's gotten something that he wants to stay at the University of Tennessee, or he gets to go be the manager of one of the top organizations in MLB.
And reportedly, supposedly the GM there is looking for someone who will add confidence and fire to the dugout.
Well, got that.
So that's Tony Vitello. Okay, we'll see what happens with that one when we come back. Tough loss, Kentucky next. Would Tennessee have an easier time getting up for this next game if it were Florida or Oklahoma? Is the fact that it's 0-4 in the SEC Kentucky going to make it even more difficult? Come on back on the Sports Source. Never take a drink of water before you come back to your show. When I need some hard-hitting tea. Sounds like I've been drinking hard-hitting tea. Al Wilson is the guy who brings you this segment with his spectacular new drink. You can read more about it at hardhittingtea.com. And I welcome you back to the show where I need the Heimlich maneuver. All right, my apologies. The question here, Tennessee goes to Alabama. They struggle, they lose. You know the team's it's going to be hard to get them up after that loss. Now you're going on the road to Kentucky, a team that is 0-4 in the SEC. They took Texas to overtime last night, still lost. My question for my VFLs, and thank goodness it's this segment, would Tennessee have an easier time getting this, would the coaches have an easier time getting this team up if they were playing Florida or Oklahoma this week rather than Kentucky? Will Overstreet, take it away. I'm going to go get a tracheotomy.
Yeah. Thanks, John. Yeah, I mean, listen, when you're playing a team like Kentucky, you're having to look at their schedule and you're looking at them and you're going, how many wins, how many losses in the SEC? You see not a lot of success. And listen, past couple years of history, what have we done against Kentucky? No matter if we were the best team or they were the better team, we've won. I think this is a very difficult game for the coaching staff to get everybody focused and ready to play after a loss like Alabama. What do you think, Marlon?
I would agree with you there, but here's what I will say. They better be up for this game. If you want to see the wheels fall off this season, you go lose at Kentucky and still have Florida, or at Florida, and Oklahoma at home still coming up this season, and Vanderbilt. So you better – I agree with you there. Yes, as a former player, it's hard to get up for Kentucky, especially when you beat them time in and time out. But if you want to save this season from being a dump fire, you better be ready for this game because you go lose at that one. Now you got a lot of question marks.
Yeah, that, as I was saying off air, I absolutely hate the truth of this question because it's so truthful. Like I remember our year when we lost to Kentucky, broke the streak. We had just lost the game before, and it was like we couldn't get up for that game. Tyler Bray and Rick Rogers were just doing whatever they wanted to do on that one. We give up 13 points, and we're like, well, we lost that one. But to flip the script, our senior year, we lose to Georgia, the crazy Pig Howard fumble through the back of the end zone. We probably had our best 2 weeks of practice because we had South Carolina, who's a top 10 team coming in, ended up playing well. And so I wish we had a better team this week, but Kentucky's who's on the schedule.
And unfortunately, that's always the case, right? Because when you you can't keep up for every game. You can't be your utmost, out of bounds, ready and hyped to play. There's going to be a game or two where you're going to struggle to do that. This seems like the appropriate game to be that way.
And you're hearing bad things right now. That's a bad loss we just took last night at Tuscaloosa. I'm sure the players are hearing it. The coaches are breaking it down, and then also trying to flip side, get you ready for Kentucky. Again, my biggest point is we better be ready to play because if you want to see this thing go down, you go lose at Kentucky with still some strong teams left on your schedule.
I would say let's just hope that they're viewing it as a stat game. Let's see if we can get our stats back up this game. And maybe they're viewing it that way. That's my finger crossed, my little sunshine moment there.
There you go. Well, John, I think the answer is yes. I would much rather have Florida or Oklahoma than to have a bad Kentucky or bad record Kentucky team that you're going to have to play and get this team up for.
Very good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. And, boy, I'm much better now. I should be drinking the Al Wilson's hard-hitting tea because it's sweet tea, also with just a taste of apple wine mixed in with it. And that, right there, what you see there, that's how you go back and cover the ad after coughing through the first part of it. Thanks to those guys. When we come back, let's take a look at Kentucky. Will they or won't they? I've got 4 prop bets for you. We'll see if these guys think that Tennessee will hit them or miss them. That's next. We've still got the Cavalaris line, our standings in the Beat the House competition, and our picks for the Wildcats game. That's next. Come on back on the Sports Horse. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Safety Systems, wired and wireless security systems, camera systems, gate and access control systems. They also offer commercial security systems for your business. Call VFL JJ Surlis and the crew at Safety Systems this week. You'll see one of those signs in my front yard and in my backyard, but if I catch them in my backyard, bad things are going to happen. Safety Systems, get out there and see them. I'll know you're out there thanks to Safety Systems. You'll see that sign all over town, houses, businesses. They can take care of you, I promise you. Give them a call at Safety Systems. Okay, back with we got the media guys over here, Josh, Jimmy, and Chuck. And over there we got the VFLs. And we're going to do our, that's good. We're going to do our Will They or Won't They segment. First up, Josh Heupel is 4-0 versus Kentucky. But 3 of those games were decided by 3, 6, and 10 points. Will the Wildcats be pay attention to this one, Chuck, when you're setting the line. Will the Wildcats be within 10 points of Tennessee entering the fourth quarter on Saturday? Yes. Yeah. Ooh, everybody thinks it's going to be a 10-point or less game going into the fourth quarter. Interesting. Okay, very good. Josh, do you agree or disagree?
I'm going to disagree with 4 former Tennessee football players.
You know better.
Well, you said I need to be bolder earlier, so I'll say yes. Tennessee has a 10-plus point lead entering the fourth.
Okay, there you go. Next one. Quarterback Cutter Boley has thrown for 241 yards a game in the last 2 weeks for Kentucky. Joey Aguilar, for the record, has thrown for 244. So Boley's yardage is about what Aguilar's has been the last 2 weeks. Will Boley throw for 240 yards versus Tennessee next week? Sterling Hinton says no. Aside from just sun shining, why do you say no?
No, I just think we're going to get a lot of pressure on them, get a lot of sacks on them, and we're going to have the ball for a long time up there. So I don't think he's have the ball enough time to actually throw for that amount of yardage.
They're going to make a horror movie about Sterling. It's going to be called The Sun Shining. All right. Jimmy, does he throw for 240 against Tennessee?
Yes, Kentucky get behind and he'll throw 40 passes. He'll get to 240.
Okay, next one up. In 7 games, Braylon Staley has gone over 90 yards receiving on 4 occasions. So 4 out of their 7 games, he's been at 90 or more. Will Braylon Staley reel in at least 90 yards of catches versus Kentucky? Part of that also depends on what you think Chris Brazzell and the other guys will do. All right, we got 2 guys that say no, so I'm going to go with Rain Cloud here. We heard from Sunshine. What's up, Will?
It just seems like we haven't had consistency the whole time, and I also think Brazzell didn't have a big game, so you just kind of look as he's going to have the bigger game in a game like Kentucky.
Okay, Chuck, is Braylon Staley going to hit 90 yards again this week?
No, I don't think so, because this was like the career high kind of game, season high. We said 92, correct? Against Bama. Yeah. So, no, I'd say under that 90.
See what happens when you get him away from Sunshine Sterling? He was bragging on Braylon Staley when he sat next to Sunshine Sterling. You move him over here and he
See how you rub off on me?
No. You moved over to the Rain Cloud side.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Okay. Last one. Kentucky running back Seth McGowan is averaging 95 yards of offense from scrimmage per game. 95 yards rushing and receiving combined. Will McGowan be held to under 95 yards by the Vol defense? Okay. Daniel. Oh, wow. Daniel and Marlon say no. Sterling, I've already answered you one. Marlon and Daniel, you don't think you can stop this guy and hold him under 95 yards?
We hadn't stopped that many people all year, so.
We don't set the edge very well. I don't think it's going to start this game.
He gets out in space on the edge, he's going to make somebody
We're definitely
miss.
not tackling him.
It's a new edge, baby.
Wow. Oh, man. We'll just end with that. Good grief. All right, when we come back, that's a lot. Welcome back to the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Games and Things. Folks, they are your table heaven. And by that I mean poker table, pool tables, of course, foosball tables, air hockey tables, table tennis. They've got bar stools and bar tables, pub tables. You name it, they are the table place. So head down to Games and Things, the corner of Lovell Road and Keystone Pike, and check them out this week. It's not just games. They've got games if you're looking for it, but the things part of that is furniture. So they got it all, cause life should be fun. Get down to Games and Things. They do a great job. We appreciate them for bringing you a whole lot of stuff we do here at the Sports Source. Not only this show, but also the Saturday Kickoff and the Sports Source Digital Network. Chuck Cavalaris and the Beat the House standings. Let's take a look at them right here. Bob starting to pull away the rest of us because there's a max bet this year. Daniel, you can only bet 100 or 200. There's only one guy who's gone, and that's poor Will, buried at the bottom. But everybody else is kind of bunched together, and we're rising and falling every single week. So Bob's pulling away with $900. I'm at 500. Josh and Jimmy are at 400. They took the Vols last week. Mike stole 400. Oh, I have Sterling in green. Sterling should have been in red because he took the Vols. Anybody in red took the Vols. Anybody in green took Alabama last week. Now, Chuck made a couple $100, that's all, but look at him celebrating. He still gloats every week, doesn't matter how much he wins. If he wins a buck, he's going to be gloating. AI Chuck. Okay, what is your line for this week, Mr. Cavalaris?
Well, I tell you what, you got to really look at this game. Another late Saturday night game for the Vols on the road. You know, it's at Kentucky. Tennessee has had a margin of victory of like 5 points in Josh Heupel's 2 wins there. At home, it's like 13.5. So Kentucky can play them tough, but there's something personal here between Heupel and Stoops, and it's a family kind of thing, and it's a young quarterback at Kentucky. I got Tennessee bouncing back this week. I'm going to set the line at 10.5. So we'll see what happens there. I have the Vols minus 10.5, but Kentucky, you might want to buy in plus that 10.5.
Okay, minus 10.5 for the Vols. Now, this is where Bob gets an unfair advantage, specifically over me. Whoever is in first place is supposed to go first. You don't get the benefit of looking at others. Because he goes and does his Vikings party every week, he goes last, which means I have to go first. Yeah, it's called cheating. That's right. That's right. I will put, he's at $900, I'm at $500. I'm going to put 10.5. Man, that's a great line, Chuck, because if it were anything larger, I would go Kentucky. I'm just going to go 100 on Tennessee.
Homer.
100 on Tennessee, yes. I'm beaten up all the time for being a homer. Josh, what are you doing?
I'm going to go against you, John. 100 on Kentucky.
Okay. That means I will change mine. Okay, 100 on Kentucky. Jimmy.
100 on Tennessee.
Ooh. 100 on the Vols. Mike Stoll, I'll get his later. I'll get Bob's later. Daniel.
100 on Tennessee. No confidence at all.
100 on Tennessee. I'll get Ollie later. Marlon.
All right, I'm either going out or gaining some money. Let's go 200 on Tennessee.
All right. Are you at 200 left? So that's all in for you.
That's it. All in.
Okay. Sterling.
100 Tennessee, baby. 100 Tennessee.
He's
Let's
trying
go.
to stay alive.
Yes,
There
sir.
we go. He's not gonna go all the way out.
We're doing a deal.
All right. Let's talk more about, we got a couple minutes here. Let's talk more about trying to get this team up. We let the VFLs over there talk about it. I think that's a serious concern. Normally, if this were at home, I wouldn't worry about it because with this offense and playing at home, it's really hard to beat these guys in Knoxville. But going on the road after that loss, it's a heck of a challenge for Josh Heupel and his crew.
It is a heck of a challenge, and if they don't clean up some things, they not only will struggle to cover the 10.5, they may struggle to win the football game. Tackle better and eliminate some of those penalties, and you cannot give up a devastating play on offense where a defense scores on you. Cannot do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of at this point where you need to be the one making the plays on defense. We broke this down on the Sports Source Digital Network and also on the Saturday Kickoff this week. Going into last night's game, Tennessee's defense had made a combination of 91 sacks, tackles for loss, takeaways, and defensive touchdowns. Wow. That's 15 a game. So while they're giving up yards, there aren't many teams in the country, defenses, that are making 15 big plays a game. They didn't do that last night. They did get one turnover, but the offense didn't cash in. Josh, if you get your chances against Kentucky or anybody else, your offense better cash in.
Yeah, cash in against a team that's just not on your level. Kentucky's at the bottom of the SEC. Tennessee still has playoff hopes. Tennessee still has a lot to play for. So avoid some of these mistakes. Use this week to get better with bigger games coming up after Kentucky.
I was surprised they took Texas to overtime. I know Texas hasn't been that good, but it does look to me, I was expecting Kentucky to quit by this point. Give Stoops credit. They haven't quit to this point. If Tennessee jumps on them early, do you think they roll over or no?
Well, whether they roll over or not, we just need to jump on them early and jump on them and keep on jumping. I don't care if they quit or not. Keep on jumping and jumping and jumping. This is a big game for us, and we got to win impressively. Impressively.
Yeah, I don't see him. I don't see him just rolling over. I feel like this is one of those games Kentucky's going to put up some points late. Your defense gets tired, and the offense just hasn't done what it needs to do on the road yet.
All right. Thanks to all of you guys. Chuck, nice line. Will, Marlon, thank you guys. Sterling, Daniel, Jimmy, Josh, thanks to Bob Hodge. Thanks to my bottle of water that's almost killed me in segment 7. Thanks for watching. Thanks to our sponsors. We'll see you next week. We'll see you all week long on the Sports Source Digital Network.